or hell.
大したことなさそうだね。
全力で来てください。
May has one of the most straightforward and effective game plans. Use her disjointed normals and exceptional movement to score any straight hit for damage, and then pressure you with one of the best strike throw mixes in the game. However, once you begin to dismantle these surface level strengths, it becomes more and more clear she isn't designed to flex or repurpose her tools. And before you know it, the fear will simply be replaced with caution as you bottleneck her explosive options. Naturally, May's round start is amazing. She has a 10 frame disjoint and a crouch slash that you can't forward punch, a slide that'll clip your feet almost instantly, and a slew of ways to maintain priority if you just try to run away. She can't hit us with everything at the same interval of time though. So what we're going to do is a micro walk back out of crouch slash range and then low block to protect ourselves from the slide, which is kick punishable by the way. If she wants to maintain pressure, she'll be forced to use her heavy dolphins whether she far slashes first or not, which with 25 frames of startup and travel time you can easily intercept with a punch or kick. The more active frames, the better. Find what works for your character. May can also use volleyball, but this is even more reactable and will lose to the same button you use to intercept her horizontal dolphin. Her most flexible option will be approaching from the sky with her air dash, since she can get somewhat creative and come in at different angles, but this has its limits as well because you know she has to come directly to you. And universally in Strive, air dashes aren't that quick, and since you bottlenecked her into doing this, you'll be ready to respond with an air approach with 6P, an air-to-air counter hit, or just let her know you're here to win with an air grab. May's only real way around this is to take advantage of the fact that you won't be contesting her immediately at round start. This will manifest itself in different ways. She may go for a Hail Mary grab at round start, or she may flail around in the air with her JD to really mix up her approach. Either way, understand this is a player trying to escape the one-dimensionalness of the character by design. It can get pretty silly at times. No matter what happens at round start, just don't panic. As you begin to tame the round start, you'll see this trend of linearity continues into her neutral structure. In neutral, May has two stances. One is when her dolphins are charged by holding down and back, and the other when the dolphins are uncharged. If you force May to release her charge, her explosive options are off the table. There are several ways to achieve this. Play full screen and force her to advance, so she'll have to release the charge, or look for a whiff punish by spacing outside her far slash range. On average, the total animation of her disjoints are 30 frames, so even though they look hard to punish, you have more time than you think. If you're not confident you can directly punish her, remember sometimes just taking your turn is the best whiff punish. Shoutouts to Say Jam. As long as you don't let her whiff a disjoint and then dolphin you in the face right after, you're doing the right thing. She'll try to remedy being uncharged by making contact with far slash or stand kick on block first to buy time to charge, but if you pick up on this, you can 6-speed both. And if you'd rather wait, you can just hold back and look to punish her startup on heavy dolphin, or if she goes for the slash dolphin, her turn is over being -5 on block. Unfortunately, this is only half the battle because engaging her without dolphin locked and loaded is only possible if you have the space at your back to position like this. When dolphins are locked and loaded and you can't create distance, mashing jab beats both horizontal dolphins. The idea is you're rapidly respawning a wall that stays up much longer than it stays down due to the nature of how jabs work in Strive. This is better than 6Ping, especially when you don't know when she will dolphin, because even if you whiff a jab, another will soon follow. This works because the hitbox-hurtbox ratio on dolphin is actually abysmal. Let's take a look. Using 5P also gives you time to respond when she does a vertical dolphin to throw off your timing. It's not a solve-all solution because she can still whack you with disjoints, but the counter hit return on her slash is way lower than a horizontal dolphin. I mean, how many clips have you seen start off like this? Once May gets in, her Gatlings don't leave her with much in terms of high-low mix. The thing is, all the good risk reward is in her charge dust, because both sweeps are kick punishable on block, and charge dust is universally 0 on hit. So the standard block low, react high rules protect you from her high low. And you may be thinking, well, what about her overhead command normal? And to that I would say, what about it? It's negative on block and on hit doesn't combo with anything or even leave her close enough to do anything. If she notices you turtling up on defense though, she can call you out with her forward heavy. It's not an overhead, but it can catch you mashing and reset her turn on block if you let her charge it, so you have to do something. She can release it at any moment though, so I recommend backdashing if you have the space to. If you have to mash, be careful, because if you get hit, the round's pretty much over no matter where you are on the screen. Lastly, she can dash cancel her stand kick and close slash, but both are grab punishable with relative ease. Unfortunately, if any of this mix were to hit, she still need meter and corner for it to matter. So without meter, May is primarily doing two things on offense: conditioning you for a strike throw game, and more importantly, conditioning you to block Dolphins instead of intercepting them. Let's talk about how to stop that. Shutting down May's movement options after Fast Dolphin is the crux of many of her matchups. If you feel like it's never your turn or the match is always out of control, it's because you aren't locking her down properly after Fast Dolphin. Fast Dolphin is only -5 on block, so she isn't allowed to press anything afterwards, but she will try to escape and re-engage, thus controlling the tempo. The three post-Dolphin options you need a response for are backdash, jump back, and 6P. Most characters can cover 2 out of 3, and some can cover all 3 in the corner. If you play one of the characters that can cover everything except 6P post-Dolphin, you can create a rock, paper, scissors where you try to bait out the 6P and punish. If you're one of those characters that can cover everything except jumping, use the fact that she has to jump to your advantage. And if you're one of those characters that can't cover backdash, use the fact that she can't block during the backdash and aim the punisher there. In any of these scenarios, the objective is to simply get her to block, so the May player begins to associate Fast Dolphin with the end of her turn. And if you don't, it turns into a circus real quick. But as long as you handle this correctly, the match flow will begin to stabilize, and no matter which Dolphin May chooses, it will begin to carry inherent risk. With all these situations covered, you'll start to notice more hesitation in the May player's movement until she gets about 50% bar. With meter, May gets a lot more flexible, especially in the mix-up department. One setup you absolutely need to be ready for is the heavy slash and the volleyball. If you don't react by jumping, you leave yourself open to a disgusting high-low throw mix-up. And if you do jump, she can still follow up with an air grab, so be ready to take the grab. Outside of the corner, you can backdash as well. So if you couple both options, you should be able to create enough wiggle room to get out of the setup with minimal damage. In addition to some meaningful mix, she also gets access to her only reversal on defense. Bait it as you would any reversal overdrive, except wait for the splash hitbox before you run in for the punish. Where May excels in neutral and offense, she kind of falls apart on defense, so no need to take any extra precautions when she has no meter. And before you know it, you'll be able to cancel your Seaworld membership and have her playing behind her anchor instead of in front of it. If you want more guides like this, be sure to subscribe and become a member of the channel. Thanks for watching, and here are some other guides on the characters we covered so far.